There is something profound happening in the depths of another's soul, something that reaches beyond the ordinary rhythms of daily existence and touches the very core of human transformation. The person who once shared sacred moments with you, who walked alongside you through chapters both beautiful and challenging, wants you to understand that they are no longer the same individual you once knew. They are not simply changing or adjusting their perspectives, they are undergoing a complete metamorphosis, evolving into a fundamentally different human being, one who is finally beginning to glimpse the true nature of themselves and their deeper purpose in this vast, interconnected universe. For what feels like an eternity, they carried within their heart a heavy belief that life had somehow conspired against them, that fate had dealt them cards from a deck stacked with misfortune and disappointment. They moved through their days feeling like a victim of circumstances beyond their control, weighed down by layers of accumulated pain, suffocating regret, and situations that seemed to trap them in cycles of powerlessness. This victim consciousness became their prison, a self-reinforcing pattern that kept them locked in repetitive behaviors, constantly avoiding the uncomfortable work of true accountability and unconsciously pushing away the very people who mattered most to them, especially those they cared about with the deepest parts of their being. But something magnificent has begun to stir within the landscape of their inner world. Like the first rays of dawn breaking through the longest night, a quiet yet powerfully transformative realization has taken root in the fertile soil of their consciousness. This awakening carries with it a truth so simple yet so revolutionary that it has the power to reshape everything. Blaming the shadows of yesterday will never illuminate the possibilities of tomorrow. For the first time in what feels like lifetimes, they are making a conscious, deliberate choice to release their grip on the bitter poison of resentment and the suffocating chains of old wounds, choosing instead to turn their attention toward the golden opportunities that are beginning to emerge like flowers after a long, harsh winter. This profound shift in consciousness did not occur in isolation, floating in some abstract void of self-improvement. They want you to know, with every fiber of their being, that if they have discovered the strength to begin this healing journey, if they have somehow summoned the courage to face the darker aspects of themselves, those shadow parts that everyone carries but few dare to acknowledge, it is because of the light you brought into their world. You were the catalyst, the spark that ignited something divine within them, though you may have been completely unaware of the sacred role you were playing in their spiritual evolution. Your very presence inspired them to embark on the most challenging journey any human being can undertake, the journey inward, into the labyrinth of their own soul. You motivated them to hold up a mirror to their own reflection, to examine honestly the person they were becoming, and to ask themselves the most important question of all, whether this version of themselves aligned with who they truly wanted to be at the deepest level of their existence. Your strength became their compass, your patience became their teacher, and your authenticity became their guiding star, showing them what was possible when someone chooses to live from a place of genuine truth and self-respect. Your presence in their life, even during moments that were painful or complicated, even through the tangles and misunderstandings that seemed to create distance between you, served as both a mirror reflecting their truest self and a powerful motivator for transformation. You didn't simply plant seeds of desire for change within them, you did something far more profound. You made them believe, perhaps for the first time in their adult life, that genuine transformation was not only possible but worthy of every ounce of effort it would require. Now, with a heart that carries both hope and heaviness, they admit something they should have acknowledged long ago: they always wanted you. Not in some casual, fleeting way that people sometimes mistake for love, but with the kind of deep, soul-level recognition that occurs when two spirits understand they have found something rare and sacred in each other. You were never just another chapter in the story of their life, never just another person who happened to cross their path during a particular season. You were the person who made everything feel more vivid, more alive, more connected to the grand tapestry of meaning that weaves through all existence. But they also carry the weight of knowing, with painful clarity, that they were not ready for the depth of what you offered. They were not prepared to dive into the emotional depths required to face uncomfortable truths about themselves, to do the inner work necessary to become the kind of partner you needed and deserved. They recognize now that when they pulled back, when they seemed to run from the intensity of what was possible between you, it was not because love was absent, quite the opposite. It was because they were caught in the grip of their own fear and spiritual unpreparedness, still wrestling with inner demons, still trapped in old patterns of blaming external circumstances instead of taking full responsibility for their own growth and evolution. The person you once knew was still clinging to pain like a familiar blanket, still pointing fingers at the world around them rather than looking honestly at the role they played in creating their own suffering. They were not yet ready to step into the fullness of what real love requires: vulnerability, presence, consistency, and the willingness to show up authentically even when it feels terrifying. But now, emerging from this period of deep inner work like a butterfly from its chrysalis, they are approaching you with an entirely new consciousness and a genuine plan for the future. This is not about offering you vague promises wrapped in pretty words or emotional declarations that sound beautiful but lack substance. What they carry now is a sincere, bone-deep desire to build something lasting and meaningful with you, something that can weather any storm because it is rooted in truth, mutual respect, and genuine spiritual partnership. They find themselves thinking about the future in ways they never have before, envisioning not just days or weeks ahead, but years and decades of shared growth, shared purpose, shared joy. The future has taken on new dimensions in their imagination, painted in colors they never knew existed, filled with possibilities that make their heart race with anticipation. No longer are they content to be passive observers in their own life story. Through this journey of awakening, they have come to understand that relationships, especially the kind of deep, transformative connection they want to build with you, require continuous effort, infinite patience, radical vulnerability, and consistent, loving action. And here is what fills them with both excitement and determination. They are not only willing to offer all of these things, they are eager to do so, because they finally understand that this is what it means to truly love another human being. Yet even as they stand on this new foundation of awareness and commitment, they are not without profound sorrow. There is a deep mourning happening within them, a grieving process for all the time that was lost in confusion and fear, for all the precious opportunities that slipped through their fingers like sand, and for all the unintentional damage caused by their own emotional unavailability during the times when you needed them most. They feel a particular kind of foolishness that comes with hindsight, a recognition of how differently things could have unfolded if they had made different choices, spoken different words, torn down the walls they built around their heart instead of reinforcing them. The weight of words left unsaid hangs heavy in their chest, along with the memory of all the moments when they should have been letting you in but instead were pushing you away out of their own unhealed fears. There is a deep, persistent ache within them now because they sense, with growing clarity, that they may be losing you or perhaps have already lost you. This realization moves through them like ice water in their veins, filling them with a kind of terror they have never experienced before. It is the terror of recognizing that the most precious thing in their life may be slipping away while they were busy being unconscious, busy playing small, busy hiding from the very love they most desperately wanted. Their impatience is growing stronger each day, an almost unbearable urge to reach across whatever distance exists between you, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, to call you, to write to you, to find some way to communicate everything that is alive in their heart. Everything they should have expressed when they had the chance. The words burn in their throat, demanding to be spoken, begging to be released into the world where they might find their way to your ears and your heart. But alongside this urgency lives a paralyzing uncertainty. Part of them hesitates, frozen by the fear that you might no longer want to hear from them, that perhaps they have already used up their chances, that the door they once walked through so freely may now be permanently closed. They wrestle with this fear daily, caught between the desperate need to express what is alive in their soul and the terrifying possibility that their words might not be welcome anymore. This internal battle does nothing to diminish the intensity of what they feel for you. If anything, the uncertainty makes every emotion burn brighter, every memory more precious, every thought of you more consuming. Right now, in this very moment, they are utterly consumed by emotions that center around you like planets orbiting the sun. Every thought that drifts through their mind during the quiet moments of the day, every whisper that visits them in the vulnerable hours of the night, every dream that comes to them in sleep, all of it leads back to you, circles back to the profound connection you shared, returns again and again to the love that never truly left their heart. Reconciliation is not merely a passing desire or a romantic notion that comes and goes with changing moods. For them, it has become their primary focus, their deepest hope, the golden thread they hold onto as they navigate this challenging process of becoming a better version of themselves. It represents not just the possibility of having you back in their life, but the chance to demonstrate the depth of their transformation, to show you through consistent actions rather than empty words who they have become through this journey of awakening. More than anything else in this world, they want you to understand that their love for you was never in question, never a matter of doubt or confusion. They loved you then, perhaps in the only way they knew how at the time, limited by their own unhealed wounds and unconscious patterns. But they love you more profoundly now because they finally understand what it truly means to love another person completely, to show up consistently, to grow continuously, to listen deeply, to be genuinely present in each moment you share together. They are not asking for blind forgiveness or expecting instant restoration of what was lost. They understand, with the wisdom that only comes through genuine spiritual growth, that trust is something sacred that must be rebuilt carefully, consciously, brick by brick, moment by moment, through consistent demonstration of their transformed character. But they are more than willing to do this work, regardless of how long it takes, because they recognize the precious value of what they are trying to rebuild. Deep in the center of their being, in that place where truth lives beyond all doubt and confusion, you remain the person they envision sharing their future with. Even though that future feels uncertain right now, even though the path forward is unclear and sometimes seems impossible to navigate, it is the future they are fighting for with every ounce of energy, every breath, every beat of their heart as they continue this journey of becoming. There is something else they want you to know, something that fills them with a sense of awe and reverence every time they think of you. From the very beginning of your connection, you have been unlike anyone they have ever encountered in this lifetime. There is something about your inherent strength, your powerful presence, and your beautiful spirit that commands attention and respect without ever needing to raise your voice or demand recognition.